Aloha and welcome to Java. Thank you kindly for joining me. It's Friday, May 3rd, 2024. There is a lot to go over today, so let's get right into what's going on in the markets. We've got the MMRI is below 300. So we did see a pullback yesterday in the risk. So we're out of the extreme zone, very close to it, still in high risk territory. So watching the elements of that, what happened, the 10-year yield as well as the relative strength of the dollar, pulled back a bit. So that gave some room for stocks to run. The current fear greed index is still in the fear territory, but heading back towards greed. So the imbalance that changed today is really in the options. So in the options space, that basically people are very leveraged with that. And there are quite a bit that are set to expire this at the end of today. So sentiment right now is bullish, but we've still got some continued weak volume. So I expect it to be a bit choppy within the ranges. Watch your levels. We've got a possible end of day runoff and pressure on the stocks, largely due to these options expiry. So we're watching job numbers. These are prior to the market open, but they're basically what the Federal Reserve is watching now for the numbers. So job numbers, even though they're not accurate and will be revised, we'll be watching those for the reaction. So many people call this a false flag Friday because typically events that would happen after market Friday or moving into the weekend. So urging caution going into this weekend. We are watching it in the charts. There is still more correction that is favored in probability. So got a lot of headwinds. We'll go over that in a bit. So we had the dollar stabilize after Powell spoke and the labor market data that they're watching this morning. Of course, we'll be watching that too. The Fed expects more bank failures. We'll go into why. It's basically weakness on depository. So for the moment, we've got stocks in the green. We've got the volatility index is down. Gold and oil under pressure. I do expect oil to recover a bit. We've got a couple of stories with that. And then also we've got the futures in agreement with this at the moment. So green on open depending on those jobs numbers. So taking a look at calendar and earnings, we have the employment report coming out before market open 8:30, so as well as the wages. So watching those, and then 10 a.m. we get ISM services, and then also Fed president speaking after the close tonight. So we've got the expectation is that the jobs report will show continuing streak of employment gains, but they're not separating out, which I think is critical, government jobs or part-time jobs versus full-time. So we're losing a lot of full-time jobs, getting part-time jobs, but the net is an increase in employment. We'll see what that says. So I want to talk about Bitcoin cryptocurrency for a moment because I'm getting some questions on this. There was a bit of selling pressure, did retreat below the 60,000 level. But the important part on this section is the M2 money supply flipping positive. So basically, this is the velocity of money that people are actually spending. So investors looking to start hedging against inflation, that would be positive for this space, as well as gold. So lending and banks wanted to address this. We've got this story secrets about turnaround guy, and they basically are consulting firms, and they help commercial borrowers restructure so that they can become profitable again or restructure their debts. And what they're saying is they are getting more calls from multifamily and commercial space, as well as business owners needing help. So that's kind of a harbinger of what's to come, a little more headwinds for this. We've got these investors standing on the sidelines, raising $1 billion to be ready when a bank fails. So this is part of the massive transfer of wealth that is about to occur. It's actually begun occurring as we speak. So they're waiting to buy up these failing banks. They know it's coming. So listen, less bang for the buck. Wanted to bring this up because the headwinds for consumers is the federal debt levels increasing at an alarming rate. There is now a point where the GDP is lower than the debt, so it cannot possibly pay back this debt at this point in time, is unsustainable. So we've got increased government spending and it's not stopping. So highly inflationary in the long run. So looking into companies and jobs as we dig a little deeper, we've got this story about Travis Kalanick. He's got a $15 billion food company. He's basically laying off workers globally. So global company, so this is a larger issue than just the United States. And we look into this, we've got another drugstore chain filing for Chapter 11 bankruptcy. But in the meantime, we've got Amgen is still going up. So I think there's going to be a lot of positivity in the healthcare space moving forward. So if you're looking for longer time work or think your job is under threat, you may want to consider healthcare space. It's a little more stable than a lot of areas. So we've got Sam Altman, OpenAI, and Amazon-backed Anthropic facing serious competition from Chinese startups. So as we see more competition come into this, this is going to continue to pressure the big companies in the United States. So OpenAI, basically Microsoft, Amazon, Google, they'll see more competition. So it's saying 2024 is the year of great gloom for American workers because basically the pressures of all of this going on. So moving into companies. If you recognize any of these logos, basically all of them are either in stages of filing for bankruptcy, for help, or they're shuttering stores because of economic conditions. So we're not talking about one or two stores. We're not talking about smaller names. It is now spreading at rapid pace. So, of course, when they all go out of business, they will be laying off people. So I want to go into what big space there is, what we're spending on. First off, as I said, healthcare, but also the majority spending that will not be cut back is government. Large part of government is, of course, right now defense with all of the wars going on. So just want to bring up some of these things that your tax dollars going to. So US is largest threat to space security. This is China bringing this up. They're upset about basically satellite systems. And that is another war going on for the satellite space. We've got DARPA. Basically, they are U.S. Department of Defense Advanced Research Projects Agency. They're behind many, many projects. I'm not going to go very deep into them here. I really wanted this video to get out. So they are testing massive autonomous robot tanks. And they're saying with growing green eyes, they're worried about basically artificial intelligence taking this over. So watching these robot tanks, and they're testing them in Texas right now, and they're successful. We've also got this is called the Manta. It's a giant drone submarine for long distance underwater missions. Haven't said exactly what that is, but more massive spending. I put this in here for scale to this tugboat. So it is quite large. We've also got Northrop Grumman. They just got a huge contract with a $7 billion ceiling, and this is for B-52 bombers. That basically these are holdovers, but massive spending going into war space. We've also got another side to this space, which is hackers, the internet security. So hackers of all kinds attacking routers across the world. They're saying the large number of attacks that are happening are Chinese, Russian, but also internal. And this will be an excuse also to lock things down and increased surveillance. So watching that moving forward. So with that, I also want to mention we've got a large attack on our food supply. Uh, they're saying now the bird flu likely circulated in the United States cows for 4 months prior to diagnosis. Now, the issue with this is they are looking at massive tracking of cattle or culling. And both of these could be major headwinds for food supply from this area. So, with that, I want to move towards becoming more self sufficient and outside of this system. Part of this, growing your own medicinal, growing your own garden. These are all plants you can grow in pots, even if you're in small space. But lemon balm. So, mild sedative used often as a tea can also be used as a poultice externally. It's used as a flavoring, does have a very lemon, it's in the mint family, very lemony flavor, used for skin injuries, also in antimicrobial, so antiviral, can treat, actually, I didn't know this, not that I need it, but treats herpes or simple viral infections because of this. It's an immune booster, can also lower your stress, which I did know about. I drink it as tea often, and nervous tension. So, insomnia, restlessness, or anxiety, if you have any of these, it's good to have a little bit of this tea if you like in the evening, particularly with chamomile if you don't have allergies. So, also manages hyperthyroidism. So, very good benefits with this. If you'd like to try growing this, very easy. You do have to container it, or it will run wild and take over your garden. So, I hope any of this is helpful. With that, I wish you all a great day. Have a great weekend, and I'll see you Sunday morning. But until then, my friends, stay free.